Go, here we go, here we go. It is markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, October 26, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning. We would take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market. We'll take a look over there at XRP. Of course, we take a look over there at the stock market as it gets set to open in the next 3 minutes. We'll take a look over there at things like the US dollar currency index, gold, any type of financial news that is going on out there, or any type of crypto news that is going on out there as we get ready to kick off our day. So good morning, everybody. One day till Friday, till the weekend can get kicked off. Let's go ahead and dive into what's going on in markets as we get ready for our day to start. Bitcoin still holding above $34,000 in here. Of course, still following along to really how this breakout occurred several years ago after a similar consolidation range. Just kind of waddling along in here. Nothing too different happening currently right now. You can look over here on the right side of the screen. Most of the market is in the green today, although slightly up. You got the altcoin market total 2 up 1.16%, others up 1%, total 3 up a little bit under 1% as well. With Bitcoin slightly down today, down $230, but the altcoin market given a little bit of a push. If you haven't noticed out there, there actually has been quite a bit of action in the altcoin market. And you may be saying to yourself, BCB, what are you talking about? I haven't seen any action. And I've been working on a video this morning outlining a lot of stuff going on in the altcoin market, how the altcoin market behaved in a situation similar to this. And what we're really seeing is a lot of stuff that's really like outside of the top 10, really getting the bigger moves. You can look over here on total or on coin market cap to actually see in here. There's a lot of stuff that has been outperforming Bitcoin for the last 7 days. And if we actually go all the way down this list down here, where are you at, Bitcoin? There you go. There's Bitcoin. Everything else here in this top 100 has been outperforming Bitcoin this week. It's really just that top 10 stuff that's been struggling. I think in the top 10, there's only 2 that have actually been outperforming Bitcoin. But you can see throughout the top 100, you have quite a few that have been doing quite well this week. So keep your eyes open and peeled for about an hour after this live stream ends for a video to come out where we're going to really talk about the altcoin market. And just kind of situations of, what did it do? Like, for example, in a situation like this, or in a situation like this, which we've still been following quite closely here, has been this 2016 structure. Now, of course, if S hits the fan and we go breaking down lower, it's probably it's for a whole nother video. We'll have to address that if that time comes. But in particular with these 2 kind of scenarios right now, we can kind of talk about the different behavior of the altcoin market. And how wrong footing can happen. And probably if it is a surprise to you that the altcoin market is doing well, to see that, we've actually seen this type of behavior before where it's stuff outside of the top 10 that actually kind of has that initial boost that's happening there in the market. And that even did happen back in here, back in 2020. So that video will come out later this morning, and it'll be entirely dedicated to that. I've already recorded and edited about 15 minutes of that video, and I'm going to do my best to keep that closer to 20 minutes. The last few videos I've been putting out have been pushing on that 30, 40 minute mark, so we'll do better on that today. But otherwise, Bitcoin is still just holding itself up well. But let's go over to XRP, still holding above, right? This has been the daily candle close level. That's been the struggle really for the last year and a half, still closing multiple days above those price levels, waiting for something bigger to emerge for XRP, some type of blast or something to come to move with the market. But Bitcoin's given us good signs. We know that's mandatory for XRP to have a good run. Hate it or love it. It's been confluent for over a decade, over 10 years. So, all right, Bitcoin's still chilling. I think the thing that give you kind of a clue on what's going on in my mind for really this next week of crypto action is this is the better scenario to have right here. If we actually do have a bigger move in Bitcoin where it is going to shoot all the way up and give more time for those altcoins to really kind of gain some momentum. Because if we are continuing to follow 2016, which it has not proven that it's not, I mean, everything has just been really, really silly tied to it, right? The thing that it would indicate if timing still continues, which it has for like 940 days or something crazy. I don't remember the number. We did it yesterday. It's that, you got until, the rest of October here for Bitcoin, and then another 200-day range would form here for Bitcoin. I don't think any of us would like that. So, the scenario I am cheering for is that, Bitcoin can just calm down and can just do some waddling to happen in here and let that go on for a few weeks to like point towards the potential of this being the case to be coming out in here. That would be for anybody cheering for bigger moves or for anything substantial to come in altcoins. This is your better scenario. This one still gives us a long time. So we don't have an answer yet. And so over the coming days, if there is some type of big move in Bitcoin where it shoots up another $5,000 or something, and we get up to 40K, we get up to 45K or something like that, it may be signaling that this thing's coming to a conclusion much sooner than we would hope for, and that this range will continue for much longer. But so long as this can just stay here and chill out, and the thing that probably nobody wants to hear, nobody, and you'll understand when I put out the video today, is that Bitcoin can continue going like this, and the altcoins actually kind of go down like that. And you're like, what? Why? And you'll see in the video today as we talk about it. And it's one of those important things. And I've met a lot of people. I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to have met a lot of people in person, whether that's at Consensus, whether that's at XRP Las Vegas, or if that's at the Proper Party in New York City just a month ago. Right? That was a month. Oh my gosh, that was this month, wasn't it? A lot of times people say, just kind of that mental awareness of markets. It's psychology and just kind of helping keep that level head through a lot of it. And understanding that in this situation, this would be a really big psychological test for a lot of people in this market, because you're going to have Bitcoiners screaming that Bitcoin is the only way, and the altcoins would be feeling some pain right in here. Not drastic pain, not crashing pain, but that jealousy kind of pain where Bitcoin just kind of keeps creeping up, and the altcoins, like I just said, it pointed an arrow kind of down like that. Like, what are you talking about? But then, this would be the only time, and people who were there in the member stream saw that yesterday, that, this would be your only divergence in the market. We have lots of confluence with the altcoin market on every single thing, but this is a phase where there is a divergence in here, and this is where a lot of wrong footing will happen. All the people who sold looking for 12K, they capitulate back end. Of course, they'll get on the internet and they'll scream Bitcoin's the only way because they need their bags to pump now. But at the same time, it's the perfect opportunity for Bitcoin maximalists to show their narrative and sell you the idea that a Bitcoin ETF is coming, and that altcoins are doomed, and then only for the altcoins to wham, catch up and surpass Bitcoin. So keep your eyes out for that video today. I think it's really important because if we're heading into that phase, it is going to be an extreme psychological test. But for those who are not surprised by it, if that's what ends up occurring, there's an advantage there to understanding that, a huge advantage, rather than being, maybe they're right that Bitcoin's the only one. No, not at all. I've heard it 1,000 times. Not at all. It's never happened. So, all right, keep your eyes open for that later today. I'm excited to get that one released because I think it's awesome data. Super important. If you watch this channel, it's super important to watch today's video. It was super important to watch the Bitcoin video the other day, this altcoin video. If you are second guessing yourself and not understanding what will be happening in here, this one's very important. So keep your eyes peeled for that one later this morning. Stock market, struggle bus. Boy, it has been a whirlwind over there in the stock market this past week. So the Dow is doing okay. It's about break even this morning. It's up 6 points this morning. S&P's down 8 points. The Nasdaq's down 35. Holy cow. Did you guys see futures overnight? Totally different story overnight with futures. You had the Nasdaq down like 160, the Dow down like 100, S&P was way down. This is a huge improvement for what was happening in the middle of the night. You even had gold popping up there. Where's gold now? Gold is chilling out, but gold was trying to press above that 1980 price again last night. But looking over here at the stock market, it's not actually that bad. So you're down 0.25%, and then you're down 0.17% in the Nasdaq, 0.16 in the S&P, and 0.06 over here in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. With your winners today being Ford and Nvidia and Netflix, your losers being Meta, Roblox, and United Health as the day gets kicked off. But we'll see how this thing settles. Yesterday was crazy. So I don't know if you've noticed the volatility that has happened in the market lately. You had a big day on Tuesday. I mean, you had a bunch of stuff up here that was up 6-7%, like a bunch of them, most of the market in the green. And then yesterday, just a clobbering. I think the Nasdaq was down almost 3% yesterday. So we'll see if there's some type of recovery that can come in here, because things are getting sketchy McGee over here in stocks. So we'll see how this thing pans out. But essentially, like, let's look at this one too. Look at this one. This is the NDXT, right? So this is what we were talking about yesterday, or not yesterday, in the video that put out earlier this week, right? Down. This was down 3.61% yesterday. So this is a key level right here. You're almost there at 7,500. I don't know what it's going to open at, because this ticker is delayed 15 minutes. So we'll check in on it before the live stream ends. So in 7 minutes, this will update, and we'll see how that thing is going. But otherwise, as for the DXY sets a higher high in relation to the recent high that was set earlier this month. So we were talking about that yesterday, just being kind of like, oh, will we see something similar to this, where we keep setting this lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs? Well, guess what? There's your higher high. So DXY, we'll see what you end up doing. I'm going to remain humble with with the DXY. As you can see, 50% is the one that stopped it. But as you can see, the 382 fib is the thing that it bounces from. We'll see how this thing goes and take it from there. But otherwise, you can see gold in the fear trade starting to kind of struggle. Hey, if you look down here on the left side of the screen, this is kind of annoying. I'm a premium member over here on TradingView. I pay, max cost or whatever for the premium thing. Look at this. They're feeding me this crud today. I've noticed this every time I go somewhere. They're doing that. That's not okay. TradingView, stop that. Knock that off. All right. Grayscale has gotten up to that level that we were talking about with Bitcoin in that video on Monday or Tuesday. I don't know what day of the week it is. I'm a little bit under the weather. But yeah, it's so Grayscale has struggled. We'll see there. XRP, again, you're through the levels. We're just looking for a bigger move to come out of here. No changes over here on the dominance, the safety trade dominance, like we talked about yesterday. You've seen a lot of that flow coming out of USDT, Ethereum, and USDC. About 3.25% of Bitcoin's dominance has been attributed to that, as the washing machine has been going on in here. But as we could see over here throughout the market, you got lots of stuff that has been outperforming Bitcoin. Just a big flow of that is coming in through here. What this thing washing machining itself, where USDT, USDC, and Ethereum is flowing into it. So nothing big there, but I think today's video will be important, because you could see a drift up in Bitcoin dominance that would petrify and amplify. Not petrify. It's a wrong word, because petrifying is more like when prices are crashing, which they wouldn't be. But it would like enable and amplify Bitcoin maximalists in this one moment, because this is the only moment in time where you can see a divergence happen between Bitcoin and the altcoin market you hear the term a lot. I think it's overused, but when people say it's like holding a beach ball underwater and then letting go of the beach ball, that is what happens in this type of scenario, where it just drifts here and the divergence happens in here. We don't see that. There's a divergence. It's extreme correlation between the altcoin market and all of these phases until right here. There's this little drift that happens in here. And then finally, if Bitcoin can get through, wham, that's when the altcoins end up going. So I'll show that to you today in the video that is about to be released. All right. Otherwise, that's really it for today. You got, Bitcoin still humming along. We're still going to keep our eyes on it to see if this thing is just going to keep moving at the pace of 2016 as it has, or if we can slow things down and get more of that 2020 type feel. So hopefully within about a week or so, we should have a really good clue on how that thing is playing out in there. Otherwise, still craziness over there in the stock market. We'll see how that thing wraps itself up, if it can get some life breathed back into it before the week comes to a conclusion. Otherwise, it's been actually madness if in the altcoin world. If you haven't been going around looking and hunting and trying to find stuff that's been popping, it has been pretty wild over there. I see stuff I'm tracking, and I'll see it pump 18% in 1 minute. And it's been pretty crazy. But again, keep your eyes out for today's video. We'll talk more about that kind of stuff. All right, moving over here to financial news that's going on today. U.S. GDP grew at 4.9% annual pace in the third quarter, better than expected. So that's some of the financial news economic data that we had come out today. GDP Q over Q, Q3 came in at 4.9% versus expectations of 4.3%. We had initial jobless claims come in at 210,000 versus 208 expected. That is 2,000 more than expected, but to know 210 is definitely way lower than anything of concern. Let me see if I can look at this and see what the historical numbers have been. For the last 6 months, it's one of the lowest readings, in the bottom 25% of the lowest readings that we've had at 210,000. What's the other one? I know we had PCE. PCE prices came in today. So the personal consumption expenditure, PCE prices release, measures the changes in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers for the purpose of consumption. Prices are weighted according to the total expenditure per item, and it measures price changes from the perspective of the consumer. It is a key way to measure changes in purchasing trends and inflation. So it came in at 2.9% versus expectations. Let me see if I have expectations on here. I don't have expectations. I don't have a forecast, but our previous reading was 2.5. This metric did top out back last year, a year ago, at 7.3%. Prior to C19, this number hovered between 1.3% and 2.4. So last month we were at 2.5, this month at 2.9. So a slight uptick this month, but still trending down towards that 2.4 to 1.4% personal consumption expenditure, which is measure of the change of price in goods purchased by the consumers for their consumption. So still a slight tick. I'm wondering if that played a little bit of a role of things this morning in regards to volatility. Let's head back. Okay, well, there we go. U.S. GDP grew 4.9%. Remember, to be in a recession, you have to have 2 consecutive months of negative GDP growth. 4.9. It's like crazy. It's very far away from recession. So like when you go back and you look at, I was having this conversation with TXMC. He's an absolute brilliant person when it comes to economic data, if you haven't followed him, but he had showed me and discussed great financial crisis, right? Like when, did people see it coming? Did when did the recession start? And did you have that data at that time? And what happened is like the recession didn't actually get called till like stocks had already crashed. And it was like, well, they had to go back and revise GDP from the past, and it showed that the recession started much earlier. So GDP is really just kind of this moving target that you don't really actually have until kind of later, until all the data comes in. So that 4.9 even will be revised again at some point for Q3. Like Q2 still gets revised. And the point being, even if there were massive revisions, 4.9 is so high that even if there's like super huge errors in there and it's got to be brought down, you're still so far away from recession at 4.9. That's a giant number. No matter how off they are, they would have to be so ridiculously off. It would be absurd. So this is actually a really strong number that has happened in here for U.S. GDP growth. All right. Siemens Energy shares slide 30% after companies seek support from government, German government. Okay. Mercedes-Benz falls 6%. Okay. U.S. economy grew at 4.9 pace last quarter, the fastest since 2021. Oh, there you go. You can see these data points, right? So this is where it was like Q1 2022, Q2 2022. Oh, we're in a recession. Nope, we were not. And then there you go. That's huge. It's like C19 stuff. Printing money like crazy. ECB presses pause after barrage of hikes to tame inflation. So the ECB pause, European Central Bank. Yields drop as GDP does little to alter Fed bets. So the Fed currently right now, it's expected that they are going to pause. But that just shifted. So 99.8% probability that they will pause. 0.2% chance that they will do a hike. As you saw just a second ago, it was like 98% chance of a pause, 2% chance of a cut. In the end, either way, no matter where these little dots bounce around in here, the bulk of it continues to remain here, that they will be paused on the November 1st meeting. And that is next Wednesday. So that's 6 days away from today. Boom, 6 days. And we'll have that. Of course, we'll live stream that and have the expectations, again, that next week will be volatile. And really, this week has been really volatile over there in the stock market. So if it's even more volatile next week, holy guacamole. But it's possible. So... all right, what happened inside Morgan Stanley after Ted Pick was named CEO? Who cares? Israel latest, don't care. Maine police pursuing suspect after 16 were dead and she's, man, my heart goes out of that. I read a couple of headlines on that of what happened in Maine. Big tech's disappointing earnings erased $200 billion in value. University of Penn fights back against billionaire ultimatum. Okay. Looking over here at crypto, Sam Bankman-Fried will testify at his trial. I believe that is today. So Sam Bankman-Fried will go on the stand. We don't really cover a whole lot from this trial just because it's a lot of noise. It's not impactful of the cryptocurrency market. But if you like drama, you like juice, today's the big day. Sam Bankman-Fried will go on trial, will go on stand. So I'm pretty sure Ellie will be there today, and we'll see what we get. I don't know. I heard somebody messaged me and said maybe that thing will be televised or something. I don't think so, right? Unless this is exactly what it's supposed to be. This is drama. Like, we don't get to see any of the trial except they televise Sam Bankman-Fried. Like, we're going to allow cameras today. It's like, okay, this is all a big giant act by the government. And there's times and places to be conspiracy theorists. There's times and places where people are just perpetuating false narratives for profit. Like, there's a reason why they're pushing silly stuff, and it's likely because they're making money off of it. This is, out of all the things in crypto that I think there's like a chance the government's playing a role in this whole thing, it's this. So we'll see. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust outshines NVIDIA with 220% gain this year. Bitcoin to score Golden Cross after a 30% price surge in 2 weeks. Guys, Golden Crosses, Death Crosses, they don't really have much value at all. We've tried to point to that in 2022, right? If in May or 2021 when that crash happened, if you would have sold the Death Cross, you would have sold the bottom. What would have just happened 2 months ago? The Death Cross, if you would have sold it because the Death Cross tells you it's time, boom, it reversed. We've gone through so much data to show Death Crosses typically mark bottoms, and Golden Crosses that just the crosses. It's just a narrative. Don't pay attention to it. Like just because it Golden Crosses, it means nothing to me. And I should be a bull, right? I'd be like, yeah, look, man, see, look, we talked about this all this time. It's going to go to the up. See, I told you there's a Golden Cross. It's not relevant. It's not important. Just like Death Crosses aren't important or relevant. right? You have to have a statistical number of something working for it to have relevance. And if something's only 50-50, or if it's even less than 50-50, then there's just no point to point to that type of data. Okay, back to it. MasterCard partners with crypto payment firm MoonPay for Web3 services. Okay. Bitcoin price model expects 45K phase to hit in November. How blockchain games fared in Q3. 5,000 Bitcoin for $5 in 2009. Okay. His claim to fame. Sam Bankman-Fried will testify at criminal trial, says defense lawyer. Okay. That's our news, guys. That's our news. We got nothing. The only thing you got today, Sam Bankman-Fried testifying, but that's irrelevant to current prices and price behavior in the market. What we do have is a green day over here in the cryptocurrency market, which is nice. It's just nice to settle in here, and there hasn't been any big shift down. And I'm hoping that we can just kind of continue at a slow little pace, a slow little grind right in here to build up some more strength. Because the thing that is on my radar, and we will still talk about this for at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks is being mindful and worrisome of that. If a bigger pump keeps coming in here for Bitcoin, to keep your eyes out there for that first few days of November. Now, what is interesting too is about this thing is how this takes us here to November 1st. It's interesting. What's on November 1st? That guy. Fed. Right? Fed. So will the Fed cut? Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be crazy? Don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the Fed. The day the Fed cuts, it marks the top. We've talked about that, so we'll see. We'll see. I hope that's not the case. I hope we kind of lose this thing. We've been on it for too long. I'm ready for things to start kind of changing up, but I'm not going to deny that, it still has been just going along just fine. And we do know how to spell continue now. Thanks to viewers of the channel, we do know how to spell continue. To all the people who recognize the spelling error that was there for over a week. Thank you guys for correcting that. But yeah, okay. So there you go. Keep your eyes out for it. Oh, wow, 27 minutes of rambling. Look at me go. Time flies, man. So there you go. There's price action looking all good. Stock market, how you doing? How you doing, stocks? There you go. The NDXT does catch itself and go positive here as the day starts off. NASDAQ is, or excuse me, Dow Jones is slightly positive. NASDAQ has gone more negative. So look at that. NASDAQ down 1%, NDXT up 0.88%, which is the technology sector. However, there's a 15-minute delay in there. So if this has happened in the last couple of minutes, in the last 15 minutes, which it has, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. So we have seen a fall in the NASDAQ of about 0.5% in the last 15 minutes. And so this is delayed 15 minutes. So big pop to start the day. Did we get that pop with the NASDAQ today at the opening? A 1% pop. Did we get that with NASDAQ in the opening? A little bit, yeah. 0.5%. So either way, the NDXT or the technology sector is outperforming, which I don't see that represented here. That's for sure. We'll see how that thing settles as the day gets going. Otherwise, Bitcoin's doing okay. Metals, not much from metals. So I'm not seeing metals freak out, right? That's the one thing I'd be looking for, is for metals to be freaking out. They haven't broken down at all. Gold is still just sitting up here trying to decide what it wants to do. But this has been in kind of panic mode with, the Israel conflict happening over there. This all kicked off right away. And then now we're just kind of stalled out here. So still looking for more to come from there. NDXT, we'll keep our eyes open on that to see if we can actually end up holding that support level in there. Right here. Common to ABC back to it, but you'd want to see it end up holding. So either way, somehow, some way, even with the chaos of the stock market, crypto's been holding up well. But there's definitely been concerns out there in the stock market. And no matter how you look at it throughout all of history, in order for Bitcoin to get that new all-time high, stock market all-time high has been mandatory. Not block reward halvings, not 4-year cycles. La stock marketa. El stock marketo. All right. Let's hop in, guys. All right. We're getting too goofy. I need to get back to my video, do what I'm working on. It's time to stop being a goofball and be real. Do real data stuff. So, all right, let's hop in here. Let me see if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Gator, thank you very much. Gifted 5 BCB memberships. I appreciate it, brother. And Code 9, thanks, man. Gifted 5 BCB memberships. Ria's, hey, Radifer, how do you check inflation rate, for example, on BCH? Well, BCH is easy because BCH is a hard fork of Bitcoin. So it's going to have the same inflation schedule as Bitcoin. So it's essentially the copy paste of that. Anybody who had Bitcoin in 2017, you got airdropped Bitcoin Cash because it was a hard fork of Bitcoin. But an easy way to do it is just go to developer. Or not here, I'll do it really fast for you guys. You know, there's probably some source out there where you can just go get all of the inflation data that you need. But like for example, Bitcoin Cash supply over here on CoinTrader Pro, and you can start yourself at 2 points in time, right? So you know that you can start here. We'll do October 25th, 2023. We'll go back to October 25th of 2022. We'll end there. Start there. I'll show you this so you're like, hey, what are you doing? Date and price range tool. We could start right there on our supply and end right here. You can see we have 365 days, and over the course of 365 days, we end up 1.73%. You can go ahead and Google it for yourself. What is the inflation rate of Bitcoin Cash? And you're going to see 1.75%. So we got really close, right? So for me, that's way close enough. If I'm within a couple decimals, I'm totally fine with it. It's going to get a ballpark to, 1.75% versus stuff when you have it's like 35% annual inflation. It's kind of like, yeah. But there you go. I go to the supply. So I'll go to cointrader.pro. And then I'll type in an asset's name and select that asset's supply. So for example, so you have Bitcoin Cash over Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash over the dollar, over Ethereum, over market cap, or over supply. So I'll be on the supply page and just measure out what a year's worth of increased supply was, and that'll tell me my inflation rate. Thank you, Riaz. Black Cat, what determines the price of crypto? How do exchanges get money to pay out? And what happens to unstoppable domain? And what happened to unstoppable domains? Thanks for your help with charts. Unstoppable domains is still out there. I don't know if they got a funding round of $1 billion valuation, I think, a while back, about a year ago. I don't know. I don't follow them closely. I don't have sponsors on the channel, right? We've kind of kept it that way for over a year. I don't know if it'll be like that for forever. A chance sponsors will come back one day. No plans in the near future, but I have not had sponsors on this channel for over a year now. I believe it's been over a year. Dang, close to it. I think it was September of last year. And just, we've just been educational based and content create, newsletter, course, stuff like that. But I believe, they still email me all the time telling me about stuff that they're up to. I just, I don't have time to pay attention to it right now. But as for what determines price of a crypto, the buy and sell pressure and what people are willing to pay for it. How do exchanges get money to pay out? Because you pay them first. So you go to Coinbase and you pay them dollars, and then they give you money back. And if they don't have the money, if they have too many assets on their balance sheet, they can go sell the assets somewhere else and get cash. Thank you, Black Cat. John Costco, does it matter if you use fib levels from 64K 2021 spring highs instead of 69K since the top was 64K by all indicators? It's a great question. It's a totally great question. I'm not 100% sure. I play with that myself too. It's going to be a tough one. Which one is it? All indicators say the top was there in April, but price went higher, right? In November as an expanded flat style, right? So would you use the expanded flat or would you use the April? I think we'll just have to watch as price climbs to see which one it's reacting to. The reaction that we had just recently, do we still have this open? Let's see here. I think this reacted off here. So we kind of have an initial reaction happening here off of a fib by using the peak of 2021. Or did we have a breakout? Yeah. A difficult one. This one has a confluence of interest to me. We see it stall here. You see it have resistance in here. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to see how price is reacting at the time. It's very rare that I've had a chance to use it on things when we have expanded like this. My guess is going to be this for the market cap. And when we get closer, you'll see the reason why. But that's going to be my guess. And just when we get, if we get up there, you're going to see why euphoria. And for those who are good at figuring things out on your own, why would euphoria show up at that 702? And what will be the thing that Bitcoiners are talking about all over the place when you get to the 702 on the market cap? Why will that be euphoria? Why will that make headlines? Why will that be on CNBC? Why will that be on Bloomberg? On every single crypto? What would be significant about getting to that 702 and bringing YOLO, euphoria? No, this won't be 100K. No. What is significant about that level? Why will it make headlines? Why will retail buy the top? Why will every content creator talk about it? For those who are good enough to do it, figure it out yourself. Teach you how to fish, man. What will be so impactful about the 702? There you go, Francisco. All right, moving on. Thank you, John. We'll see, man. Holy shnikey. But I think if you caught my wind there on why that the 69K is, SMG. There you go. Why 69K seems likely. Use the market cap and try to solve it. Holy shnikes. Thank you very much, my brother. He gifted a BCB membership. Jeremy Gibson gifted 1 BCB membership. Thank you very much. Oscar Hernandez with the super chat and the super sticker. Very cute and cuddly, Oscar. Thank you. And Oscar gifted a BCB membership along with Hawkeye. Hawkeye gifted 5. Thank you very much, Hawkeye. And thank you again, Oscar. Philip Mann gifted a BCB membership. And Ryan Hummel says, what's your take on the Multiverse X chart? I don't know. I haven't been looking at it. What is that? EGLD? Is that what that is? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that correct? Okay. It doesn't look any different than the rest of the market. I'm looking at it now off screen. I don't see anything that looks any different than the rest of the market. But I think the market's bottoming. Right? These prices that you're getting here for these altcoins, if you're buying into the narrative that Bitcoin's the most important thing in the world, and then finally when they say, okay, now it's time, these altcoins will be so far off the lows, your opportunities will be long gone. But you can look back to, first of all, I know very little about this coin. Okay, I know very little about it. Do not go run and buy this thing because I don't own any of it. Anybody who's looking at this, right? But you're all the way back. Right, you've pulled far back. If this thing breaks through here, it's probably going all the way back up to much higher prices. This one right here, I haven't checked the developer data on it recently, but throughout the whole year, I know that this thing had positive developer data. Let me see if I still have my spreadsheet open. It has slipped. So the market average on developers is down 28%. Multiverse is down 19%. So still down, but better than market average, but still down. That's for full time. For total, it's down 13, whereas I think the whole market's down like 30. So a little bit better. So it's kind of been slipping here in the last quarter, but it has been better. Then the average of the market. Is being better than the average good enough, or do you have to be kind of a top tier? I'm not sure. But the whole market is down here. The whole market is here. I don't know what the inflation is of Multiverse X. I don't know what Multiverse X does. But if the inflation of it is decent, where are most of these altcoins targeting? They're targeting that Luna collapse area, which is like 155, but you need to check to see what the inflation rate is. Let me see if I have that. Only 13.98%. So Multiverse X is about a 14% inflation rate. I mean, obviously Bitcoin's 1.75, Ethereum is like 0 to flat to negative. So 14%. And XRP is 7%. Multiverse is 14%. 14% is obviously a lot higher than those, but we've talked about other stuff. Filecoin being like 100%, HBAR being 50%. Algorand was like 100% for the longest time, which is now down to like 11%. But that 14 is not a devastating number. It's enough that it will have pulled this down over the course of a year and a half a little bit. But if it catches the juice and hits the areas where a lot of this market is heading to, it's got a decent ride up in it if it can catch some steam. Again, I don't know much about it, but this is the area of targeting where a lot of this market has been heading to. And it's close to where Bitcoin is right now. It's we're close to where Chainlink is. It's where we've seen Bitcoin Cash go. It's where we've seen Stellar Lumens go. It's where we've seen a lot of these coins heading back to. It's this like 130 area. But yeah, otherwise, I don't own any. But guys, don't go donating a whole bunch to try to get. Don't be doing the $2 donations to get altcoin charts pulled up. That'll be the only one we do. Lord Hydromaj. And I don't want people thinking I'm a jerk, right? That's the problem. The problem is you got 2,000 people watching. I don't want to pull up all these, rando altcoin charts that people want pumped on the channel. And that's very classic, the $2 donation. And hey, shill my garbage that I'm going to dump on your audience. So I don't like to do it. And it's not me being a jerk towards you. It's me being a jerk on behalf of my audience. Lord Hydromaj says, you are wrong because this time it is utility, not speculation. Okay, cool story. Then why is this happening, sir? There's so much utility with Pepe, right? The leader of the last 7 days in the top 100 is Pepe. I appreciate the super chat, but you got to realize I've been in here for, how long have I been in here? 6.5 years. That's the story I've always heard. And guess what? It is always speculation. And utility, anybody will tell you, utility has not been the thing. Yet. Right. Decentraland is outperforming Bitcoin. How much utility? Like the last time I read, there was like 14 people who used Decentraland. So that's people just speculating on the token price, right? I love you. I appreciate the support, but I've definitely heard that a million times. Don't be fooled. That was a reason a lot of people couldn't play in 2021, right? Totally thinking everything was based off of utility, and it just didn't happen, right? And so that's why you look at Bitcoin right now and you say, well, you know what is going to come from Bitcoin? I've been here 6.5 years. The narrative for Bitcoin and what it represented was stronger 6 years ago than it is today. Today, it's, nonsense. What is it? Like, what is it really? Like, we say it's like money and it's like checking out of the system, but every Bitcoiner's like, their bull thesis is it has to be adopted by Wall Street. It has to be in an ETF. That's like the opposite of what it's supposed to be. It has literally nothing to do with decentralized money, sir. Has everything to do with just pump the price, please. That's it. Ingvar says, hey, BC backer, could you look at Bitcoin and fib levels? We actually just did that 5 minutes ago. So if you just rewind, you'll see it in there. But I would not fall for that. Lord Hydromage. That's a helpful tip, brother. Do not think that speculation doesn't drive price absurd. Usually the things that have the biggest runs are the things with speculation. That's what this market is. George Alexanderopoulos, member for 4 months, says, shout out to the 702 crew. BCB, you ever use the anchored VWAP tool? We are stuck under it from all-time high now. No, I do not. I do not use that. Why don't you shoot me a DM? Or, yeah, just shoot me a DM. Thank you very much. Eric Martinson gifted 5 BCB memberships. Eric, my man, brother. Thank you, sir. Oscar Hernandez, super chat. Thank you very much, brother. Daniel Crone. I took a stab at a few coins based on developer data. Axe Infinity looked good. I couldn't find any data on Casper. You take any Degen plays? I have taken Degen plays. And they're panning out. They have. I think I went into 5, maybe 6. With 20% of my Bitcoin, and 2 of them are up over 100% in this past week, and 2 of them are up like 20 to 30%, and the other ones are up like 10%. But I may conclude those pretty soon here. Because you'll see in today's video that I'm not fully convinced that there isn't going to be a moment where altcoin holders do cry for a minute, and you'll get this, and you won't cry if you understand the market, and then how these behaviors can happen in here, where this is the only divergence that occurs in the market, that we've been very correlated, and then here there becomes this divergence, and those who are weak-handed, and there are large percentage of this market is. The large percentage of this market is they're just driven by what is being told to them in any YouTube video. They will believe that Bitcoin is the chosen one right here. Why are my altcoins flat? Why am I not grinding? Why am I not going with Bitcoin? Maybe they're right. Bitcoin is the way. It is an ETF. The news. Oh my gosh. And they will get wrecked. You'll see why. But I've learned over the years you can't help everybody. There becomes times where I become aggressive in what I believe in my conviction. This was a moment in time where that happened, right? A lot of times, there are times where it's kind of like, we'll see. Like right here, it's very much of like, hey, let's let the data kind of play out, see if we get something like this, or does 2016 kind of play out, right? It is one of those times right in here. In here, the conviction of, people are getting wrecked. They're selling here, they're getting out. And there's lots of content that's perpetuating that. And a lot of times the content creators have to do that. They do it to protect themselves in case a drop ends up happening. They protected their brand. But you know me, I'll do it, and I'll just whatever, be a jackass, price shoots up in here. But then we kind of get to a spot where the market has to tell us what's going to happen in here. I just said that in front of 2,000 people. Good for me. Okay. This is where we're going to have to kind of let the market kind of play for a second and give us a clear signal of are we going back to another 200-day range, or are we getting ready to start blasting this thing out of here? And so give us. If this thing kind of runs flat for a couple of weeks, that's the best sign that we could see. CBC said, no, too much spice, my stomach. So, all right. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. And, this is a challenge moment for a lot of participants in the market. This was, and I'm, in the coming weeks, trying to find a way to explain that to people. That there's multiple forms of capitulation. And you've already heard me say that. And you'll kind of keep hearing me say that until you finally get it. That it doesn't have to be just this type of capitulation. We already saw this capitulation, right? That's price capitulation. 5 minutes, an FTX collapse happened. Then 2 months of sideways, time-based capitulation with tons of content creators saying we're going lower. There's your time capitulation. Then comes your jealousy capitulation. And the jealousy capitulation is where you've just had enough. You've had enough of it. And then you just kind of do whatever you're going to do and you're going to stick to your guns and that's it. Or you kind of give up on other stuff and you do a swap. This is where there's one more different form of capitulation that can occur, and you'll see it in today's video. But it's the final moment before things get rocking. And if you came here in 2021, you didn't go through any of this stuff. You didn't know what it's like. Your only experiences of bull market was laser eyes and diamond hands and Elon Musk saying Dogecoin to the moon. And that was the end. You didn't get anything. You just came in at the top. To get to the top, there's always the wall of worry. Always. Where nobody believes it until finally everybody believes it. That is how everything is 100% how a market behaves. Every single time, the wall of worry, no one believes it until you get back to retracements. Why would it possibly be, oh boy, everything is going slow. Why would it possibly be that people always buy retraces, right? And then they turn over and crash because the wall of worry got completely climbed and then they laid down their wall of worry. Okay. I am getting too spicy. I'm getting heated. Like I can tell when I get sweaty a little bit. Like, hey man, you're getting a little too intense. Okay, but either way, green day in the market. Keep your eyes out today for a video that will be coming out. Cash Me Outside says, what about the halving? Hit the likes, pin course. Again, I always say that the halving means nothing to me. And it's not that I'm a jerk about it. It's fully data driven, right? Like if you're going to get an all-time high, it is not the halving that has done it. It has been stock market breakouts. So if we're not going to get a stock market breakout, then, we got to look for something different, right? Let's go, bro. Tom says 9 months ago, you liked one of my responses on X when I said I was 9 months clean. Now I'm at 18 months. All the money I saved, I DCA my bags. Stopping will change my life. You helped me change my life. Well, Tom, let's go, bro. That's what's cool, man. Because 9 months, you're kind of settling into that new world that you're in. Changing all those behaviors, having fun. When people get sober, they think they can't have any fun. Like, how am I supposed to do all these activities? All these activities I used to do were like social drinking events or party events and like going to baseball games, football games, going to restaurants, right? Hanging out with certain family members or certain friends, that's always associated with it. And you're like, how do I have any fun? And in that first 9 months, you're trying to kind of figure that out. How can you still have fun? And then at 18 months and really at like 2 years from my memory is where like none of that stuff matters anymore. You're just living your freaking life, and everything is great. It's always funny too. And you get to a point too where you got so many years under your belt. Like I got over a decade under my belt. People will still say, hey man, we should grab a drink together. I'm like, oh cool, no problem. And they're like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't know you were sober. Like I didn't mean anything by that. It's so funny that they don't live that life, and they think that like, oh no, I said that and I almost forced him to take a drink. It's like, no, bro. Like, it's okay. Like, I live my life and I'm very happy. And your kind offer and gesture didn't mean anything. You were just being nice. And people think that like they can make you slip up or something like that. And it's nothing like that. Life just rocks, man, without drugs and booze, bro. You could do it. Anybody could do it. You just got to put in the effort. And then you can finally be much happier. Just little words of encouragement. I've often thought like Twitter Spaces. We do like Twitter Spaces on Friday night. We like do like AA or something like that. And like a lot of people always say, oh, just like the life experiences that you share and the perspectives that you share. And a lot of it's just going through that and knowing what mattered in life, what didn't matter in life. Right? Was being selfish and self-centered and thinking money was going to change my life everything? Or was it actually just having an appreciation for having a roof over my head, having a car, and people who loved me? It was like, oh, the people who loved me. That's what mattered. The money didn't matter. The money is just part of the game. All right. I don't know where I'm going. Tom, you're the man. Congrats on making it to 18 months, brother. Rock on. Jared says, I love my drugs and booze. You don't. You don't. You say it. But then when you're like all clean and you're off of it, you're kind of like, man, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. That's what you really say. All right. BC Adventurer, 5 months, says, hey, BCB, I've matched my exit plans to your old course. Have you updated those in the new one? I bought it. I haven't watched it yet. My bet. Oh, geez. The old one. That's from 2019, 2020. I don't know, bro. I don't know. In the end, retraces, right? So back then it was like, okay, if they hit targets, good. Then if everything falls and we go into retraces, selling at retraces. So we're entering phases of going into retraces now. Joseph Wiley, 702, my brother, thank you. He says, hey, are you looking for any swing trade opportunities with this move or just hodl? Last time you saw a clear ABC on the horizon and I was able to stack up. So there's potentially a small swing right now, and that's if this is the play. If this is the play, there's a tiny swing. Like we're exiting the phase of the initial altcoin rips happening in here, and then things kind of settle down in altcoins for just a second, and then swing up. But that could last only 2 to 3 weeks, where this divergence happens and where people are crying. People are going to be screaming in the chat, what about Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin, my God. And all it's doing is creeping like this, but you'd see the altcoins kind of creeping in this direction right in here. Temporarily. And you'll see that in today's video. If you do not watch today's video, you're going to be an emotional nut job for 3 weeks. Nut job. And you're going to drive me nuts. So watch today's video, please. And so there's a potential for something to be played in there. But to like play it with your whole bag is you're playing like hot potato and musical chairs. And will the music stop when you're not in the right position? And that's possible. So keep an eye on today, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Otherwise, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We're at 58 minutes. It gives me enough opportunity to shut things down and hit that 1 hour mark. If you're not following me on Twitter or x.com, follow me at BCBacker. Do not fall for scammers telling you to send you money, especially if they say blockchain backer, because that's an impersonator. They're a scammer. This is my only social media. Look for BCBacker, not on Instagram. I'm not actively using Instagram, right? And I've never sent a single person a message on Instagram. Okay. Check out bcbacker.com for more content from me today. Over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content. It's $39 one time. No recurring payments, no subscriptions, none of that nonsense. One time, it's yours. If you want to get a bunch of content from me over here talking about historical behavior of the crypto market and talking about charts, indicators, trading view, all that stuff, I poured my heart into that this year to make this thing. So you can check that out here on bcbacker.com. Otherwise, Digital Dunce says, prayers and blessings for you, BCB. Isn't God so good when he helps deliver us from addictions? Yeah, it's amazing. It is el amazingo. More Spanish from BCB on a Thursday. All right. Here we go, guys. We're at 859 likes with 1,800 people watching. If you guys had helped me cross that 1,000 threshold, it'd mean the world. It's the #1 way to support the channel. Guys, I appreciate you all so much for watching. I'm going to wrap up this. I'm going to go ahead and finish my video. Keep an eye out in an hour for an altcoin video. And catch you all again tomorrow as we get ready to wrap this week up. But all right, that's going to be it for this one, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.